doubts and difficulty class of social science. How are you all? I hope you would be fine, and this is your last class and last doubt difficulty class of all the subjects and SS. I hope so. All your exams would have gone best, good, and I wish that your SS should also go good, and you should score. Most of you should score 80 out of 80 or 100 out of 100. That depends on internal, but we will focus to bring 80 out of 80 in the written exam, and that is why this doubts and difficulty session. Now, before I proceed with doubts and difficulties of yours which you have sent to me, I would like to take revision, small revision from my side, and I am sure that that would also be doubts of many of the students, those who are watching me, those who are seeing this special revision and doubt solving session by HBK. First of all, I jotted down some important points from my end, and that is mixed bag. All objectives which I think that can come in tomorrow's exam, I've jotted down over here for you. First one, which you can see, is very important, 15th March. Just now it has gone, 15th March. That is Consumer Rights Day, and that is why it is important. It has gone just now. Okay, so remember 15th March, Consumer Rights Day. Then there is another important question, and it is related to disability. So this disabled people, they get benefit of free and compulsory education up to the age of 18, not 40. As such, you know, there is a provision for free and compulsory education for children, for students between 6 to 14 years of age. But for disabled, it is 18 years. Keep it in mind. The next is related to the first one. 15th March is International World Consumer Rights Day, dear students. But 24th December, we are in the third point. 24th December is National Consumer Rights Day. Now, why 15th March is World Consumer Rights Day? Why 24th December is National Consumer Rights Day? Do see by yourself from the textbook. Suppose if the question comes indirectly, then also you should know. I am talking from objective point of view. Now, the third important point is muscovite. What is muscovite? It is colorless to pale brown form of mica. In Gujarati, it is called abrak, and in board paper, you may find the word abrak for mica. Okay, so colorless to pale brown color form of mica, type of mica, it is called muscovite. You can take a screenshot of it so that you can revise it later on, fast revision before going to your exam. Galena, it is an ore of lead. Lead ore is called galena. Then there are, two types of crimes which is done in a society. Some crimes are white collar crimes and some crimes are called blue collar crimes. Now, what are white collar crimes? Bribery, corruption, tax evasion, hoarding, adulteration, land encroachment, black marketing. These are white collar crimes. No harm is done. Violence is not done in black collar crime. All these are without violence, but they are crime. And out of this, the most important for 10th standard is what? Corruption. So you must know that corruption is white collar crime. What is corruption? What steps have we taken to curb corruption? And what are the suggestions to control corruption? That you should know. Apart from that, blue collar crimes are murder, theft, kidnapping, robbery, cheating, trickery, cyber crimes, where somewhat violence is involved. That is called what? Blue collar crimes. Now, these are some of the objectives. I have one more list of objectives important for you that we are proceeding with. Now, here are some high-five objectives. Those were very easy. that you may be knowing, some of you may not be knowing. Now, these are little bit high-fi that you should know for tomorrow's exam. First one, in order to make trade balance positive, you know what is positive trade balance? When we have more of export and less of import. When our foreign exchange earning is more, it is called positive trade balance. For making our trade balance positive, what government has started? Make in India. Okay? Then, for abolition of gender discrimination, government has started Beti Bachao Abhiyan. Save the girl child. In English, it is called Save the Girl Child. For what? For important is what? For abolition of gender discrimination. Beti Bachao. And for gender empowerment, government has started Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao. In the last soft code of our book, binding soft code of our book, there is the picture of Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao. And that is for what? Gender empowerment. Similarly, for encouragement to start new industry, to youth, along with training, finance, land, other help, government has started Startup India. So those entrepreneurs, they want to start on their own something. For that, Startup India government has started. For that, government is giving them training, finance, land, every help. And the last one is most important, which most of you have not touched till now. I will show you pictures related to it also. Now, what's the question? The use of what is the most effective way to protect the driver and other passenger in case of road accident. So, what is there in our vehicle? What can we do to protect driver as well as other passengers from road accident? Nowadays, road accidents are increasing. So this system, which I am going to explain you, that which is used in foreign country should be used in India also. But the use of seat belt is, of course, the use of dash is what? Seat belt. Seat belt is very important, and child restraint system is also important. These two systems, if we keep in a vehicle, if we maintain in a vehicle, then road accident cannot be neglected, but we can stop, we can reduce the harm caused by it. Now, what is child restraint system? Now, see the picture. Now, see, this is not the right way to make child sit in the car. This is the right way. There is a child restraint system, and if we adopt this child restraint system, like foreign countries, we will be able to protect driver and passengers from the road accident. So, very important thing from the last chapters which have been added from objective comes. So, these all are the objectives, I think, very important from tomorrow's point of view. Then there are some full forms also for objective which can come for tomorrow's exam. These full forms include CI. What is CI? Now, few years back, there was one question in this doubt session sort of things. So, what is TI? Now, initially I thought that it should be IT. How can it be TI? And then when I went through many pages of the book, then it came to my mind that TI is nothing but Transparency International. It is organization checking on corruption in the world level. And similarly, CI is also similar sort of thing. It is Consumer International, working for consumers. Working for consumers' right, consumer protection. So CI is what? Consumer International. Then inside, inside it's very easy. Sir, what is this, sir? It's very easy, It's Indian satellite, but not Indian satellite. Indian national satellite. We often forget this word national, and then we lose the mark. So from, acronym, it seems that it's Indian satellite. But if you know the correct answer, it's Indian National Satellite. Then PASA, Prevention of Anti-Social Activities Act. Then say, it was there in a board paper last year or last year, I don't know, but it was there. That is why I kept it over here for you. Steel Authority of India Limited. Then ONGC, Oil and Natural Gas it will be corporation, not commission. Corporation. Okay, so we often make mistakes in this. That is why I have taken up over here. Then one more data, Power Hans Limited. It provides helicopter services to ONGC because we're talking about ONGC, Oil and Natural Gas Corporation. Previously it was Oil and Natural Gas Commission, but now it's Oil and Natural Gas Corporation. Now it provides Power Hans Limited provides helicopter services to ONGC from Mumbai High to Mumbai and vice versa. Okay, now some questions were there always when I was taking lecture or revision about fairs. Recently, Chaitra Mahina is going to come in coming days. So from that, the question can be there. When Bahujrati fair is held or which fair is held on Chaitra Sud Poonam? So you should know the answer, Bahujrati fair, Mehsana. It's the latest coming fair, and that is why I kept it over here. And I told you when I explained you when your doubts were there that mostly Mataji's fair is on Poonam. So Chaitra Sud Poonam, there is a fair of Bahujrati. Am I clear? Now these are some of the objectives, some of the doubts from my point of view. Now let us go further. So let us take your doubts. Now there are many things to explain, but before that, there were questions of some students which I would like to take up one by one. Now there was one question from Shail Desai, and his question was related to obstacles which human faces in life. Actually, there is no question like this, which are the obstacles we face in human life. But there is question related to that in a textbook that what are the pillars of human development. Now these pillars are nothing but the obstacles to be removed in human life. That can be the question. So the question should be corrected, I think so, Shail. The question should be what? What are the pillars of human development? So human development pillars are production, P for production, equality, E for equality, then E for empowerment, and S for, in your textbook it is given stability, but it should be sustainability. Sustainability. You can write stability, no problem, because in textbook it is given. These are the 4 pillars of human development. That means for human life, these challenges have to be sorted out. So 4 pillars of human development are, you can remember like peace, or likewise you can make some capsule and you can remember these 4 pillars are production, equality, empowerment, and sustainability. Okay, in textbook it is given stability. Both are correct. So this was the question of Shail Desai. Then there were questions, many questions related to math, which I would be taking soon. Then there were questions related to monetary measures, monetary factors, fiscal measures. That will be there. But initially we are seeing some of the questions which students have asked, and they are from the initial chapters, or their answers are very short, and then eventually we will go with the lengthy question answers. Now all these are the doubts. Now there was one question from one student whose name is Hitarthi, and she was having 4 questions in doubt. One of them difference between market system and socialist system. So in market system, capitalistic system, all the economic decisions like how much to produce, what to produce, when to produce. All the economic decisions are taken by market forces, and that is why it is called market mechanism system. Okay, it is also called capitalistic system. Socialist system, all the decisions here are not taken by market forces, but they are determined by government. Or you can say state planning, state created planning. That is the first point of difference. So there is a difference in the system, market mechanism system and socialist system. Both are opposite to each other. In one, all economic decisions are taken by market forces, and in other, all economic decisions are taken by government created planning. Second, now as government is taking all the decision, ownership of resources of production. Now which are the ownership of resources of production? Land, labor, capital, entrepreneur. These are the ownership of resources of production. Means resources of production, these are the factors of production. They are private or individual in market system. It is not owned by government because decision is taken by market forces. And in market, there is freedom where people can take decision. Individual who are having ownership of resources of production, they can take decision. Where, concentrate here, in socialist system, resources of production are owned by the state. State means what? Government. Land, labor, capital, entrepreneur mostly belongs to state. That is government. Third point of difference. Now, there can be many differences you can make. I have jotted down some 7-8 differences. You can read and you can get more. That is what is there in essays. The more you read, the more you will get points. You will be able to read between the lines also, if you will read with full concentration. Then third point, all economic decisions are taken by, here I have written state, it should be all economic decisions are taken by private individual. Private person or private individual, all economic decisions. It's just from the first point. All economic decisions are taken by private individual. And here, all economic decisions are taken by state or government. This is just a copy of the first point. Here, I have written just the words economic decisions, and here I have mentioned which are the economic decisions. What to produce, how much to produce, and when to produce. All the economic decisions. And here I have just inserted the word economic decisions over here. And the next difference, profit in market system. This is a market system. This is a socialist system. Profit is at the center of all economic activities in market system. Okay, individual when he is having ownership of resources, land, labor, capital, entrepreneur. Now where he will utilize it? He will utilize it where he will get maximum profit. So profit is at the center of all economic activities in market system. Whereas profit is not at the center, in socialist system. Okay? Profit is not at the center in socialist system. Social welfare is at the center in socialist system because ownership of resources mostly are in the hands of government. So government does the work for the people, for the welfare of the people, and that is why social welfare is at the center, not profit. Profit is not at the center of economic activities in socialist system. Now, who followed the market system? Market system was followed by America, France, and Western European countries. They followed this system because they were capitalist. Okay, they were first world countries. Initially, they were first world countries, second world countries, third world countries, fourth world countries. Now today there are two types of countries economically, developed and developing. So this system, it was followed by America and Western European countries, those who were democratic and capitalist. And those who were socialist countries, not democratic, opposite of it, they followed which system? Socialist system in their countries. Now which are the socialist countries? China, Russia, North Korea, Cuba, Vietnam, they followed the socialist system. Now, in market system, economic freedom of individual is protected. In socialist system, there is lack of individual freedom because resources are owned by government. Decision is taken by government. So economic freedom is not there in the system. The biggest limitation of socialist system is lack of individual freedom. It is called free market economy, market system. Whereas socialist system, it is called order and motivation system. Here government has to take care of the resources of production. Government motivates if factors of production is working according to the targets by the government, and if they are not working according to the targets by the government gives the order, and that is why it is called order and motivation system. Now these are the points of difference of what of market system and socialist system. Now there are some more points. In market system, which is the most important factor of production, capital is the most important factor of production. In socialist system, which is the most important factor of production, labor is the most important factor of production. In market system, luxurious commodities are produced, neglecting basic requirements or necessities of common people. Whereas in socialist system, due to lack of competition, new research and innovation does not take place. So what happens? Here new innovation takes place, luxurious commodities are produced. Here everything is produced for what? All the people, irrespective of their wealth. Okay, and new researches does not take place. Whereas in market system, new researches takes place according to the willingness of the people, according to the paying capacity of the people. And the last, there is increasing disparity of income in market system. Rich becomes richer, poor becomes poorer. Whereas socialist system, it came into existence with noble intention of removing disparity of income and social welfare. So that is the difference between market system and market system and socialist system. Dear students, this question chapter is chapter number 15, 15, and from this question of 2 or 3 marks will come. These many differences. No need to remember all the differences, but the concept is important. If you once know the concept, you will be able to write many differences, more than just differences by yourself. But in exam, you need to write according to the marks. I have jotted down many points for you. And the concept should be clear. In market system, in simple words, there is freedom, there is capitalism. In socialist system, there is lack of freedom, there is lack of capital in this system. Now, this was the difficulty. There were 4 difficulties of Hitardi. One, I have solved a difference between market system and socialist system. Then there were many difficulties. I will take according to the convenience of all. There were some doubts of maths also. Now, there was also one problem. Of Kitardi, that question, that difficulty was about Naxalism. Now, one question was explained Naxalism. So basically, what is Naxalism? Now, you know, after World War, or you can say during the Cold War, world was divided into 2 parts. What we are seeing is basically those 2 parts, that is democratic bloc and socialist bloc. Naxalism, market system and socialist system, which we just saw, it's a part of those 2 divisions which occurred after the World War. What we are seeing Afghan-Pakistan war, or what we are seeing today, Iran-Israel-America war, it is also the result of the same division. So Naxalism, it is originated from the same ideological differences or ideological war. Now, what is Naxalism basically? Now, inspired by the communist revolution, in China under the leadership of Mao Zedong, some Naxalites started the fierce ideology. This is ideology basically. Maoism, Naxalism in India. It started back, it started in 1967 in India. It originated in 1967 in Naxalbari village in West Bengal. Okay, from where it drew inspiration? China Communist Revolution. Communism entered in China, China became communist, and drawing the inspiration from there to spread Naxalism, communism, Maoism in India, this ideology entered India in a fierce, violent form, which is called Naxalism. So it was originated in Naxalbari village in West Bengal, and that is why it is called Naxalism. Okay. Now it started in West Bengal, Naxalbari village. It spread to Jharkhand, Bihar, Andhra Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Kerala, Odisha, Tripura, Madhya Pradesh. In mostly you will say in southern part where communism is spread, or they spread communism, or they wanted to spread communism in entire India, where there it is spread. So mostly southern part of India and northeastern part of India is spread. Okay, these states are from there only. And the same thing, the difference which we saw, market system and socialist system. If you will look at the system in our country, in northern India, you will find the use of market system. There is a freedom in northern India for production. Whereas in certain system, certain states, still in southern India, we follow socialist system. So that difference is not only politically you can see economically also. Right? Now, which are the organization? They are spreading this ideology, this fierce ideology, violent ideology. They are doing violence to instill the ideology over there, to spread the fear over there, this Naxalism. This militant organization which are spreading this Naxalism are People's War Group, PWG, and Maoist Communist Center. In Northeast, I told you, mostly you will find this ideology in Northeast and South. Now the next question, next difficulty. Now the same student, Hitarpi's question, third question. I told you that when necessary, I will take those topics. I will take initially the small doubts, and then slowly and gradually we will go for the doubts which are lengthy. Now about the other question, it's what? It's types of agriculture in India. Now in India, we follow subsistence farming, dry farming, then wet farming, then shifting agriculture, plantation farming, intensive farming. So this farming we follow in India. Now let us talk about first of all subsistence farming. Subsistence farming is characterized by scattered land holdings and use of primitive tools. In India, majority of the farmers are poor. They are having less land and scattered land. Less and scattered land. And they use what? Primitive tools. And they do agriculture with whatever the facilities are available to them naturally. They don't use modern inputs in agriculture. And mostly the laborers are from family members. They are the family members only, they do the labor. So they don't use costly seeds, fertilizers, pesticides. Generally, whatever they produce, they consume themselves. And this farming, it is called subsistence farming. Subsistence means what? Life maintenance farming. They are doing farming for maintenance of life. In India, we were doing farming initially for what? Subsistence only, maintenance only. Then, now we started commercial farming. Dry farming. The next one is dry farming. Dry farming, it is practice where rainfall is scanty or scarce. Where rainfall is less, people over there, they follow dry farming. What they do in dry farming, they try to maintain moisture in the land. For that, what they do, they make a pit on their land and fill it with water so that moisture could remain for a longer time. And then they do farming in this type of land so that crops can get water in shortage of water. When there is no rainfall, still that land is moisture and they can do their farming. But water is limited, so only one crop in a year can be taken, right? They do not get water twice a year. So they practice only those grains which require those grains or those crops which require less water, like jowar, millet. Millet is bajra, pulses, which require less water and less attention. Opposite to dry farming is what? Wet farming. Now, wet farming, it is carried where rainfall is abundant, where rainfall is more. Here, two crops in a year can be taken. Okay? Two crops in a year means during summer also and during winter also. Two crops can be taken. So here, when rainfall is abundant, the crops are grown which require a lot of water, plenty of water, like sugarcane, paddy, cotton, wheat, vegetables. It requires more water. And farmers, they do grow these crops where wet farming has to be practiced depending on the rainfall. Next type of farming is shifting farming, June farming, June agriculture. Now this is our primitive farming, traditional farming. What was happening, these tribal people living in forest, they were cultivating their land which was near to their village, that is mountain slopes. Now for that, what they were doing, they were first of all cutting the trees on the slope of a mountain and slashing it, then burning it. And they were living nearby the mountain. And then when they were clearing the land, after it was getting enough of ashes, they were doing cultivation in that land. Now, when they were doing in that land, this ashes used to help crops to grow. As it's a primitive farming, it's also subsistence farming. They were not using also inputs because these people were poor people, tribal people. Now, these people, they could do farming over here for 12 to 18 months. And then what they were supposed to do, they were supposed to shift to the other land because this land by the time would get deprived of fertility. So before coming to the end of fertility, they would clear another piece of land, they were slashing it, burning it, and they were shifting to the another piece of land. And in few years, they were shifting from one land to another land, slashing it, burning it, and that is why it was known as shifting agriculture or June farming. There are many names of June farming by the local tribes of different places. They have given many names to it, but the most important point is that while doing so, while shifting from one land to another land, most of the forest was deprived of plantation, trees, and it would get deforested. That was the biggest problem in this farming. Britishers tried to stop it, but this is the traditional farming. It was also difficult for the Britishers to stop it. The main thing is that in this type of farming, I hope so you would have understood it. In this type of farming, in this type of farming, the page has gone, no problem about it. I can explain you still. In this type of farming, production is less. Per hectare production is less. Because it is just like what? Subsistence farming. So this is about subsistence farming. Now plantation farming. If I talk about plantation farming, then plantation farming, it is opposite to subsistence farming. This farming is characterized by huge land holding and use of sophisticated machinery. Generally, it is in the form of gardens, grooves, gardens or grooves. Okay, and here it is in the form of gardens, so you can see many of the gardens of apples, garden, then spices gardens. So the rich farmers, they were having these farmers, though this farming requires the use of technical know-how. The laborers should be skilled, the laborers appointed were skilled because of huge inputs and costly method of farming. Mostly I told you in the form of orchids, gardens, grooves, it was there. So apple plantation you can see, rubber plantation you can see spices plantation. All these are the example of plantation farming. So these are the types of farming followed in India. First, subsistence farming. Second, dry. Third, wet farming. Fourth, plantation, shifting farming, june farming. And fifth, this plantation farming. So this is about types of farming followed in India. The next doubt we will take now. Now I think Hitarthi's one doubt is left, caves of Junagadh. Otherwise, all the doubts are over. So let us go for that. Let us complete that. Now, if I talk about caves of Gujarat, her question was caves of Gujarat. So Hitarthi's last doubt is over here. In Gujarat, we have caves of Junagadh. Then we have Kapadia cave. Then we have Talaja cave. Then we have Sana cave. Then we have Dam cave. Then we have Jinjuri Jar. Then Khapria Kodia cave. And at last Kalya Dungar cave. So let us take one by one all the caves. Now in Junagadh, there are three groups of caves. Caves of Junagadh comprises of three groups. Number one, group of Pawa Pyara caves. Then Upperkot caves. And then these two combined, because there is some mistake in textbook, you can call it as Mujkund caves and or caves of Khapra Kedia. Okay, there is a confusion in textbook. I am sorting it out. Now, first of all, let us talk about group of Pawa Pyara caves. Now, Pawa Pyara caves, it is near mud. Which mud? Modi mud. Now, there are three layers of caves intersecting each other at right angle. Three layers are there. Layers you can understand. This is first layer, then second layer, then third layer. And they are intersecting at right angle. Now total these three layers are there. It comprises of 16 caves. Okay, in first line you will find 4 caves. In second line, the second layer 7, and then in the third line 5. So you can remember 475. First layer, how many caves? 4. Second line, second layer 7, and third layer 5. So in all there are 16 caves. 4 plus 7 plus 5. Total 16 caves. But you can remember like this: 4, 7, and 5. All these caves which I am talking about right now, Gujarat cave, they were mostly constructed during 1st to 4th century. And here you can see that these Pavakara cave, they were carved during 1st and 2nd century. So between 1st and 4th century. So easy to write when you know that when approximately these caves were constructed, you can also write that approximately these were constructed between 1 to 4th century. The second is what? In Junagadh cave, second is Upperkot caves. Now Upperkot caves, they are located beyond 300 feet deep mode near to Adikadi Bav. In Junagadh there is Adikadi Bav, and near to that these caves are located. They are cut into two floors, two-storied caves are there, and they also have been carved during 2nd century or beginning of 4th century, just what I told. Then there is another set, third set, in 3 groups of caves are there in Junagadh. You can call it as Kapadia and Mujkund cave together. Now there is a story of Mujkund cave, but we have not been given in the textbook like this, so we will be seeing Kapadia cave one. Okay, now Kapadia caves, if I talk about, they are also multi-storied. These were having 2-story Upperkot caves, and these were carved out during 8th century, late 3rd century, and there were 20 pillars in Kapadia, but mostly today are in ruins form. So this is about Junagadh cave. Now Kapadia caves. Kapadia caves, if I talk about, they were discovered in 20th century, 1959. Most of the caves, most of the stoops, most of the heritage which belongs to India, ancient heritage belonging to Buddhist period or ancient period, they are being discovered till now because most of them are in forest undercover. So these were discovered in 20th century, and this Kapadia caves is near Gondal, away from Rajkot, 70 kilometers away from Rajkot. So mostly near Rajkot, you can say, Kapadia cave. Now, what is peculiarity about Kapadia cave? There is a Chaitya Guru which is situated in the middle cave. Chaitya Guru, Chaitya Guru, that is temple, right? Temple along with stoop in the middle of the cave. That is the peculiarity about the cave. Not only that, but you will find the figures of bodhisattvas, statues of devotees, and are standing on both the side of entrance path, supported by trees. Again, I told you that this were built around 2nd or 3rd century. So we are going for the next cave. So first group is over. First caves of Junagadh is over, divided into 3 groups. Then Kapadia cave is over. Then we are going for the next Talaja cave. Now, Talaja cave, it is situated in Bhavnagar district. Okay, Saurashtra, just like Rajkot. So easily you can remember that Kapadia, Rajkot, and this Talaja, Bhavnagar. Now, what this place is famous for? This near the Shetranji river, Bhavnagar district, it is also famous for pilgrim of Taradwajgiri. Now, 30 caves have been carved from stones with huge gates. So you will find 30 caves in Talaja. Now, what are the attraction over here? Again, here also you will find Chaitya Guru, that means temple, Buddhist temple. Okay, and Sabhakhand, Ebal Mandap also you will find, which is in front of the temple. That Mandap place also you will find, right? So, because Chaitya Guru, Ebal Mandap you can find, so this cave architecture is of Buddhist religion. Firstly, Buddhist people, they came in search of peace and they developed their art in the cave. Then came the Jains and then came the Hindus, and they developed a distinct art in different caves in different places of India. We are seeing of Gujarat. Then Sana caves. Sana caves, again, it is in, you can say, Saurashtra. It is in Una Taluka, Gir Somnath district. Una Taluka in Gir. Which district? Somnath district. Now, what is peculiarity about Sana cave? That they look like beehive. Caves are spread on Sana mountain like beehive. From far off, distance place, you will find that some beehive sort of thing is there, but these are the caves. Then Dang Cave. Dang Cave is again in Rajkot. That means again Saurashtra. And this might have been built around in the beginning of 4th century. What I told you, you can simply write that these caves were constructed between 1 to 4th century. And Jinjuri Jar, it is these caves, Jinjuri Jar, these are the Buddhist caves, and it is in west of Dhang. Again, Saurashtra you can say, because Dhang is in Upleta Taluka and Rajkot district, so these are near to Dhang. So Jinjuri Jar is also of Saurashtra, and these were constructed, it is considered that this might have been built around 2nd century. Now Khapra Kodia cave at Kutch. That was Khapra Kedia cave at Junagadh. But I told you that that should be Mujkul caves as well. But there is sort of a confusion. But here we are at Khapra Kodia caves at Kutch. Now these caves at Kutch, it is in Lakhpat Taluka, and these were discovered by K.K. Shastri. So K.K. caves, Khapra Kodia caves were discovered by K.K. Shastri in 1967. And lastly, caves of Kapadia Dungar. This Kapadia Dungar cave, it is at Jhangadia Taluka in Bharuch district. Again, Bharuch, it is not in Saurashtra. Bharuch, it is in South Gujarat. So this cave, Kapadia Dungar cave, you will find in Bharuch district. There are some places where places in Kutch side where Kapadia Dungar cave is there, but this we are talking about Bharuch. Now these are the best old architecture specimen of Buddhist religion. And what is peculiarity of Kapadia Dungar caves at Bharuch, in Bharuch, Jhangadia Taluka, that an 11-feet high statue of a lion with 2 bodies and 1 mouth. Now 2 bodies, that means having pillar form. In the form of pillar, 2 bodies and 1 mouth. At 11 feet, it's very high, have been carved with a single rock. That is the peculiarity about Kapadia Dungar cave at Bharuch. Now these are the caves of Gujarat, and now Hitachi doubt is over. Now common doubts of many students, and we are going for the main part of our revision today, in which many students are facing problem, and that is the doubts are of Dhyani, Vansh Patel, and Riya, and doubts are common. Reasons of price rise, especially monetary measure, monetary factor, and then under measure, control, steps to control price rise, monetary measure, and fiscal measure. Now that I am going to explain you. So these doubts are common, and these are very important. Now let us go for the causes of price rise. Just first of all, I am just mentioning the name. Now, why price rise takes place? What is the main reason of price rise? Extra supply of money in the market leads to price rise. When there is a more supply of money, but demand of money is not there, then price rise takes place. So the first is what? Increase in monetary supply. That is called monetary factors of price rise. And most of the students are having doubts related to this chapter or chapter number 17. There is doubt from Shashwat Shah for chapter number 17. He asked me, sir, to revise the whole chapter in a nutshell, or at least some important questions revision. But Shashwat, chapter number 17 is so big, and all the points, all the topics are so important that I cannot, take any of your doubt in that sense. But though I have jotted down some important questions from my side, I think it might come tomorrow. So that I will take, but I may not be able to take the whole chapter as a doubt. Before that, we are seeing the doubts of some other students, and then I will come to chapter number 17. Other than price rise by increasing monetary supply, monetary factor, other causes of price rise are population growth, price rise by government, increase in the prices of raw material, increase in export, black money, that is use of unregistered money, black marketing, hoarding, smuggling, right? But out of this, the doubt was what? It was related to factor number one, monetary factor, increase in money supply, monetary supply, the main cause of price rise. Now, how money supply takes place in market? Let us understand that. Now, money supply takes place in market in three ways. First, by filling deficit replacement, that is generation of new currency notes. Second, by increase in circulation of money, that is increasing transaction of money in the market. And third, by decrease in the rate of interest on debt. Now, how supply of money increases in these three ways? So, supply of money increases in these three ways. Now, one by one, I will explain you how in these three ways supply of money increases in the market and it leads to price rise. Let us see. I'm adding one slide to explain you over here. Now, normally, why price rise takes place? Let us discuss first that, and then in doing so, I will be explaining you that by filling deficit replacement, that is generation of new currency notes, supply of money increases and it leads to price rise. Now, normally, price rise takes place when demand of goods is more, but supply of goods is less. Normally, there is price rise, right? So this is what we know. That when there is more demand and less supply of goods, price rise takes place. Now let us talk about by filling deficit replacement. That is generation of new currency notes. How that leads to price rise. Now, that is to understand that we should understand why demand of goods increases. Why suddenly the demand of goods increases, and why the supply of goods is not there in the market. If we know this, we will be able to understand it clearly. So first of all, let us understand why the supply of goods decreases in the market. Now, to know that better, I would like to concentrate all of you over here. See, when cost of production is more, production cost of goods is more than price rise, then the supply of goods will decrease because producer will be in loss because cost of production is more. It is out of his hand. He will be producing goods when cost of production is in his control, though price rise is there. I'm not telling price rise is not there. Though price rise is there, but till cost of production is in his hand, he will still produce. But when the cost of production is more than price rise, production will decrease, supply of goods will decrease. But when the demand of goods will be high, price rise will take place. Now, why the goods demand increases? Because of, I told you, increase in supply of money. When money supply increases, price rise takes place. Now, how? By filling deficit replacement or generation of new currency notes, price rise takes place. Now, dear students, when price rise is there, okay, now, when price rise occurs, what happens? Government tells RBI when price rise takes place to print new currency notes because price rise is there. Actually, they should not, but somehow government has to take this step. They tell in case of price rise because there is negative production. Production is not there. Right? Cost of production is higher than the price rise. When RBI tells government to increase the supply of money to print new currency notes, so RBI does it. That means government takes loan from RBI by ordering it to print new currency notes. So when RBI prints new currency notes, ultimately money supply increases in the market. This government gets in the form of loan from RBI by depositing gold. Now, this is done. Now, supply of money increases because of what? Because of government's order to increase the supply. It is given by order by the government that it wants loan because of price rise, and ultimately supply of money increases. Now, this money supply increases, government spend because loan has been taken for spending money, supply is created for various expenditure. Government spends it for various expenditure. Some expenditure are development expenditure. Some are planned expenditure, which government had already planned. Government is not able to make because of price rise. And the third one is what? Unplanned expenditure. And the fourth one is non-development expenditure. So government does it for various purposes. Now, why government needs to take loan? That's correct. Why cost of production is more in the market, then the price rise, supply of goods decreases. Government, why is taking the loan? Because when price rise takes place, government expenditure, expected expenditure increases and expected income decreases. Now, when this happens, there is a deficit in government's budget. There is a deficit in government calculation of income and expenditure. Expenditure are more, income is less. It is called deficit. To fill this deficit, government needs to take loan, and when it wants loan, it asks RBI to print new currency note to fill this deficit, and that is why by filling deficit replacement, supply of money increases. Now, out of the supply of money increases because of taking loan by government from RBI, government spends for various purposes. Now, this development expenditure and planned expenditure, it does not affect supply of goods. So, this affects supply of goods. They increase the supply of goods, but this expenditure, they do not create supply of goods, but they create supply of money in the market, extra supply of money in the market. So, supply is more. So goods demand is more, but goods supply is not there because of some unwanted expenditure, and ultimately price rise takes place. Now, this is the first way by which supply of money increases in the market in monetary factor, that is by filling deficit replacement, that is generation of new currency notes. Now, the second one, let me take it back. By filling deficit replacement, I explained you, that is generation of new currency note. Second is by increasing circulation of money, increasing transaction of money in the market. Now, this is very easy. No need to go for another slide to explain it. Where there is more supply of money, transaction of money is more. Now, you know, money transaction, money supply is more. Transaction of money is more means money supply will be there. Money supply will be there. Goods demand will be more. Demand of goods will be more. But if supply of goods will not be there, then ultimately what will happen? It will lead to price rise. Because when supply of money increases, purchasing power increases. Purchasing power increases, goods demand increases. But goods supply does not increase. I told you why goods supply does not increase. It leads to price rise. So this one is very easy to understand. Once you have understood this by filling deficit replacement, generation of new currency notes, other ways of increasing monetary supply is very easy. Now the third one, that is by decreasing the rate of interest on debt. Now what happens? Now how this leads to increasing supply of money and price rise? Let me explain it. The third way of increasing monetary supply we are seeing how by decreasing the rate of debt leads to price rise. Now, when price rise takes place in the market, again RBI tells all the government, all the banks RBI instruct all the banks to reduce the rate of interest on debt. That means credit. Loan, you can say. To reduce the rate of interest on debt. So loans become cheaper ultimately because rate of debt credit is reduced on the instruction by RBI. Now when rate of interest on debt is reduced, then of course rate on savings will also be reduced. Interest on saving in bank, saving account will also reduce. So ultimately nobody will keep money in bank. And on the other side, rate on interest on debt is reduced. Credit becomes cheaper. Everybody will take loan. As everybody will take loan, supply of money will increase of loan. Money supply will increase because of cheaper loan. Everybody will buy loan and supply of money will increase. And as supply of money will increase, you know what happens. As money supply increases, purchasing power increases, demand of goods increases, and at the same time supply of goods does not increase. Ultimately, price rise takes place. This is the third way by which increasing monetary supply leads to price rise. Again, I recap it, and then we will see monetary measures and fiscal measures to control price rise. Reverse of this, exactly reverse of this. Increasing extra supply of money, increasing extra supply of money leads to price rise. Similarly, decreasing supply of money will control price rise. Now let us see. So we saw many factors affecting price rise. In that, let me put it down. All the causes of price rise. There was a doubt of point number 1, how monetary supply, increasing monetary supply, monetary factor cause price rise. Then I explained you this. It takes place, monetary supply increases in the market in 3 ways, and how this leads to price rise, that I explained you. Now let us go for monetary measures and fiscal measures of price rise. Measures means what? Steps to control price rise. How monetary measure, not monetary factor, it reduces the circulation of money from the market. Let us see that, and then we will see fiscal measures. Now, what is the difference between monetary measures and fiscal measures? Let us understand first. Increasing supply. Wait a minute. Increasing supply of money leads to price rise. So, under monetary measure, supply of money is decreased, thereby decreasing purchasing power and demand of goods, and price rise comes under control. Similarly, under fiscal measures, it should be fiscal measures, expenditure is controlled and income is controlled by the government so that deficit does not take place and price rise comes under control. So that is fiscal measure. Fiscal is related to controlling of income and expenditure. Fiscal measure is all about. And monetary measure, it is all about decreasing supply or increasing. If it is measured, it is decreasing supply of money. And if it is factor, it is related to increasing supply of money. Now let us talk about monetary measures first. How government reduces the supply of money and controls price rise. Let us see that. So we are seeing what? Monetary measure of price rise. Under monetary measures, what government does? Government restrict the supply of money. How? Let us talk about it. How it reduces the supply of money. And restricting the supply of money will eventually reducing purchasing power and demand of goods. Ultimately, price rise comes under control. So how government does it? So first of all, when government needs to control price rise, government asks, I'm talking about monetary measure first of all. Government asks banks, RBI, to instruct banks to increase rate of interest on credit. Now RBI increases the rate of interest on credit. Now what happens due to that rate of interest on credit? Loan increases. So eventually what happens, because of rate of interest on credit increases, rate of saving account also increases. Right? Rate of saving account also increases. So everybody will what they do. Now as saving account rate has increased, everybody will start depositing money in bank. So supply of money will reduce. Okay. So money supply will eventually reduce because of increase in the rate of interest on credit. As loan will become costlier, nobody will buy loan. Ultimately, supply of money will decrease. Money supply will decrease. Purchasing power will reduce. Demand of goods will reduce. And price rise comes under control because demand will reduce, supply will be maintained. So ultimately what will happen? Price rise will come under control. This is what government does to control supply of money. Second thing, what government does to restrict the flow of money from the market. It sells securities in the market. Government sells what? Securities in the market. When government sells securities, everybody buys it. So ultimately, all the money from the people, it goes into the hands of bank. Ultimately, supply of money reduces. Money supply reduces. When money supply reduces, the demand of goods reduces and price rise comes under control. Moreover, under monetary measure, government increases the taxes. When taxes are increased, what happens? Purchasing power of the people comes down as tax is increased. Right? One thing, when tax is increased, it leads to price rise. But on the other hand, it leads to what? Decrease in supply of money. Now, you can think that it comes under fiscal measures, but here, as taxes are increased, supply of money decreases, so purchasing power decreases, and ultimately supply of money, what happens? It decreases, and supply of taxes are increased, purchasing power decreases, supply of money comes, supply of money reduces, and what happens? Now, government increases the taxes, purchasing power decreases, so in people's hand, money supply decreases, and price rise comes under control. So, now because of tax, wait a minute. Now, under monetary measure, first government has increased rate of interest on credit, then government has taken step of selling securities. Here, tax should come actually in what? It should come in fiscal measure. So in fiscal measure, this we will see. Don't write this in monetary measure. But the third step, which is taken to control supply of money from the market, is government. What government does? It changes reserve rates. Now there are various reserve rate controls in the hands of the government. They are repo rate, reverse purchase rate, statutory liquidity ratio, cash reserve ratio. That government increases or decreases from time to time to control the supply of money. Let me explain you how. I am erasing this. This one don't write under monetary measure because tax is related to what? Expenditure and of the people and income of the people. It should go to fiscal measures. Then in that I will explain you. These two you can write in monetary measure. And third one I am going to explain you in another slide. That government, what government does? Government increases or decreases. What government increases or decreases? Reserve system. When government increases reserve rates. So what is this reserve rate? Every bank has to keep deposit with RBI on day-to-day basis in the form of gold and cash. When government increases it, all the banks, they have to keep what? Keep reserve with RBI. So their supply of money decreases on credit. They can't give credit to the people. So credit lending by the banks decreases, ultimately leads to what? Decrease in the it leads to what? Decrease in the supply of money, and ultimately it leads to what? Decrease in the supply of money, and ultimately price rise comes under control. Now let me explain you monetary measures again. Let me revise for you again. Under monetary measures, what does government does first? It decreases the rate of interest on credit. Now when it decreases the rate of interest on credit, what happens? Saving rate increases. People start depositing in bank. FD rate increases because loan becomes costlier. Nobody buys loan. Supply of money decreases. Purchasing power decreases. Ultimately, goods demands come down. Price rise comes under control. Second, government sells securities in the open market. And because of selling of the securities in the open market, what happens? People buy those securities, supply of money goes to the bank, to the government, money supply decreases, goods demand decreases, price rise comes under control. And lastly, under monetary measures, reserve rates are increased by government, and government, when increases the reserve rates, then every bank has to deposit certain amount of money with the RBI. Because of that, the lending decreases, supply of money reduces in the market, ultimately price rise comes under control. Now the last doubt in this chapter number 18 is of fiscal measures. Let me explain you that. Now what is fiscal measure related to? If I talk about fiscal measures, it's related to income and expenditure. Now under fiscal measures, what government does? So by mistake I wrote in the previous explanation that under fiscal measures, government increases its income by increases its taxes. When taxes are increased, government income increases. So government under fiscal measures tries to increase its income by increasing the taxes. Now what happens because taxes are increased? Purchasing power of the people. Purchasing power of the people goes down. As purchasing power of the people goes down, demand of the goods come down, and ultimately price rise come under control. Similarly, this is point number 1 in fiscal measure. This is how under fiscal measure government controls the price rise. Second, government similarly under fiscal measures tries to control its expenditure also. Right? It decreases its expenditure by decreasing its subsidies and interest payout. ultimately what happens, it's payout. Ultimately what happens, it decreases its expenditure. When expenditure decrease, deficit does not take place. And when deficit does not take place, government does not take loan, supply of money does not increase, and price rise come under control. Similarly, government tries to restrict the flow of money by public lending policy, public loan policy. Government ensures that people take more of loan so that supply of money reduces. Public lending policy or public loan policy, compulsory saving account, so that ultimately supply of money reduces from the market and price rise comes under control. So this is how, under fiscal measures, government checks the supply of money and reduces the price rise. Now let us go for the other doubts. So these were the doubts of Dhyani, Vansh Patel and Riya of reasons of price rise, measures, monetary measures and fiscal measures. Now there are doubts related to MAP that also we will see, and then we will end our lecture. So now let us go for the MAP, which is most important because you need practice of MAP, you need revision in MAP. Now there was doubts of MAP from chapter number 14 related to ports of India and waterways. Let me explain you first of all waterways, ports of India and some other maps, and then we will wind it up. Now some of the map I am having in the form of slide, some of the map I will show you from the saved in the desktop. Now first of all, this map, it is of Vivek Express. Now Vivek Express runs on 4 routes. Out of that, this is the longest railway route, Dibrugarh to Kanyakumari. Okay, this is important for your exam, tomorrow's exam. Now let me explain you the route. This is railway route from Dibrugarh to Kanyakumari. You know Dibrugarh over here in Assam and Kanyakumari in Tamil Nadu. Now we need to join these 2 points, but states should be followed. The important thing is that no need to show all the points as I am showing. You can show 2 junctions only. That is okay, right? From Dibrugarh to something something. I don't know the name, so I can tell something something. What is wrong in that? Then Guwahati. Okay. No need to show all the junctions, but the state should be followed again and again. See Assam, we are in Assam only, right? Then New Jalpaiguri, it's in West Bengal. Then Durgapur in West Bengal, Asansol in West Bengal, Bhubaneswar, Odisha, Visakhapatnam, that is in Andhra Pradesh, Vijayawada in Andhra Pradesh, then Nellore in Andhra Pradesh, Salem in Tamil Nadu, Coimbatore in Tamil Nadu, Ernakulam in Kerala, Thiruvananthapuram in Kerala. And then you join this, okay, and you make tracks like this. I'm making it visible for you. Wait a minute. And when you make tracks like this, I think it's heavy. Let me make it light. Track like this. This rail route from Dibrugarh to Kanyakumari will be over, and it will look good also. You can just see here effect of it. So this is from chapter number 14, the longest rail route between Dibrugarh to Kanyakumari. Again I repeat it, and then we will switch to another map. All your doubts will come off map, don't worry. Again I start from Dibrugarh to Kanyakumari, Dibrugarh to something something, then Guwahati, then New Jalpaiguri, then Durgapur, Asansol, Bhubaneswar, Visakhapatnam, Vijayawada, Nellore, Salem, Coimbatore, Ernakulam, Thiruvananthapuram and Kanyakumari in Tamil Nadu. So what is important? Following the states, following the route is important. Now next map we are seeing. Now this is another important map. Now this is north-south corridor. I hope so it's visible for you. If it is not visible, I am here for you, don't worry. This is the longest highway, or you can say north-south corridor. The thing is same. Longest highway is there, or you can say north-south corridor, thing is same. The question is same. It stretches from Srinagar to Kanyakumari. Now see the route. Now let me change its form little bit if I can. I don't think so. Let us go for this. In Jammu Kashmir there is a Jammu over here. Then you know where is Delhi. Show only the main points. Then I told you about Gwalior in MP and Jhansi. Okay, it is the intersection of north-south and east-west corridor, Jhansi in MP. It's in UP. It's here the gap is there between MP and UP. It's there. Okay, so it's in UP, Jhansi. Then Nagpur, of course, in Maharashtra. Then Hyderabad in Telangana. Then comes Bengaluru, electronic capital of India. Then comes Salem, and then Madurai, and then Kanyakumari. Now that route, Vivek Express, was going from here till to Kerala. And in this route, we are seeing that Kerala is not there. It goes from Andhra Pradesh to Tamil Nadu, and that was going from Andhra Pradesh. Wait a minute. And that was going from Andhra Pradesh to Kerala and then Tamil Nadu. This is going from Andhra Pradesh to Tamil Nadu. So that is important. Don't break the states. Otherwise, you will get full marks. And only one or two junctions. No need to write all junctions. Just initial point and the ending point. And one or two junctions. I think Delhi is very easy. Jammu is easy. All the easy points which we have seen, you can plot it out. The next map. Been wrong. We have here the map of waterways. There was a doubt of Brushali and Jaivin about waterways. So here you are. Now I think I am having good map of waterways rather than this. This is made by me. I will show you what I am having better than this. Let us see that first. This map is better than what was there. It is of waterways. Let me explain you this. Now there are 5 waterways given in a textbook. Now recently 6 was added, that is not in a course. So let us see the 5 waterways. Now the first waterway is national waterway number 1 is Allahabad, Prayagraj. It's from Prayagraj, Allahabad to Haldia. That is waterway number 1. It's on the river Ganga, so you have to maintain the flow of Ganga river. So it goes from UP to Bihar, Bihar to West Bengal, and West Bengal to this Haldia. So from Prayagraj to Haldia. Haldia is port which supports Kolkata port, which is riverine port, right? So this is national waterway number 2. I will show it in my map also, which is in PDF form, PPT form. That I will also show you for states, for following the states. Here states are not visible, I think, but whatever I am telling you, you can follow that. Then waterway number 2, it's in Brahmaputra river. So you have to follow the course of Brahmaputra river from Sadia to Dhubri on Brahmaputra river, national waterway number 2. You write over here river Ganga, and then here river Brahmaputra. And then let us see national waterway number 3 from Kottapuram to Kollam. This is in West Coast, so it's in West Coast Canal. Here there are ephemeral rivers, not perennial rivers, so it's in basically canal. Kottapuram to Kollam, West Coast Canal. Then national waterway number 4, East Coast Canal, Pondicherry to Kakinada. So this is West Coast Canal from Kottapuram to Kollam. Then this is national waterway number 4. You can write national waterway number 3, national waterway number 4, here national waterway number 1, here national waterway number 2 above the river. Then from Pondicherry to Kakinada, you can see this route. This is in East Coast Canal, right? And then the last is very important because it is not clearly visible from the textbook. It is from national waterway number 5. It is from Talche to Goenkhali. It's in river Brahmani. Here you can see river Brahmani is there. It goes like this, first point, and then it goes like this. National waterway number 5. So these are national waterways by which you can go from one state to another, and ultimately by doing this, we are trying to join rivers of India. This is the plan of the government. Now let me show you it in my work, what I did, and then we will see another map. If time permits, let me see. Yeah, here is my map. Same thing. National waterway number 1, national waterway number 2, national waterway number 3, national waterway number 4, and Talche to Goenkhali, national waterway number 5. But that was very clear. That is why we saw from there. Let us go for the next map. There was a question regarding ports of India. Let me take it also very fast. We have very less time and many questions were there. I am trying to complete it all. We are at the end of all the doubts. So let us see that first. Now, here we have a good map of ports of India. There are many ports, you know, actually. What? I forgot. 13 major ports, and then there are many minor ports also. It is not possible to cover all the major and minor ports, but we have covered important major ports which can come in your board exam. First of all, Kandla port. never mind. I'm explaining over here. Kandla port you can see. It is the largest port of Gujarat. Kandla port, it's the largest port of Gujarat, right? Very important for tomorrow's exam. Then I wanted to show you some more things. Okay, no problem. Here in Mumbai port, it is a Mumbai port, and below the Mumbai port is Jawaharlal Nehru port. It is also called Nava Seva, right? Mumbai port is the busiest port and the largest port of India, right? Then important for you, I will tell you only the important points, important ports only from this also. Then comes Chennai port, busiest port of South India. Then comes Visakhapatnam. Okay. Then comes Paradip port, important in East Coast. If you want to write one important port of East Coast, then you should write Paradip port. And then it's Haldia, which I told you, and then Kolkata. Kolkata is riverine port. It is also the busiest port and the largest riverine port. To control the load of Kolkata, Haldia port was built. Now some ports are left or some important thing is left that I will tell you, that I will explain you in blank map. Let me take the blank map. Let me take it over here only. Taking it over here so that I can do it for you fast. Now, the port which is important for you for tomorrow's exam, ports which are important for you is over here, Bhavnagar port. It is having automatic blockade system. Port of Gujarat having automatic blockade system, Bhavnagar. And then Porbandar port, port of Gujarat, which is free for the entire year. Okay, these two are important. One map is important from chapter number 11, water resources, that is COSI project. So COSI project, it's on river COSI, which is tributary of Gangaji, and this is how you will show COSI project. Okay, and then tomorrow they may ask you Sardar Sarovar project. It's very easy. You know Narmada River, right? Just draw Narmada River. It starts from Amarkantak Plateau, right? MP and border of Chhattisgarh. It goes like this, and then right over here. It does not go in this Maharashtra. Let me change it a bit. From Amarkantak Plateau, it goes like this, and then you can show Sardar Sarovar project over here. So your doubt of map of ports and waterways is also over, and these were some important points which were left in map that I could cover it. I think all your doubts are over from my side. Yeah, one question is left that I'm taking it. Yes, Shashwat, your doubts were regarding 17th chapter. Which questions are important? I cannot take all the important questions for tomorrow's exam, but you must prepare world labor market from chapter number 17. I think that is very important. That may come tomorrow. Other than that, regions of unemployment, regions of poverty, and effects of unemployment. I think these questions can come up because all the other questions have come frequently and often. So from my point of view, you should prepare these questions first and then the remaining questions. last we are seeing that is last now we are seeing technical and institutional reforms, and then we will wind this session. Now I jotted down this for you, Shashwat. If you want, if you are there, if you want to take screenshot, you can take screenshot. These are the reasons for increasing unemployment in India. These are the effects of unemployment. Very important for tomorrow's exam. Okay, and then yeah, there was one also question: what is resource and utility and importance of resource? So the meaning of resource and utility, importance of resource includes resources as food, resources as a source of raw material, resources as energy resources. This screenshot also you can take it. So we are and this yes, Shashwat, I told you that World Labour Market you must prepare. This is World Labour Market, regarding World Labour Market, and then we are going for the last question: reforms in agriculture. Yeah. So government has introduced two types of reforms, had introduced basically two types of reforms in agriculture: technological reforms and institutional reforms. Technological reforms, it is related to technology. I jotted down in short, you have to write it in detail. This question will be from will be of 3 mark or 4 mark tomorrow. In technological reforms, what has been done to increase, now why reforms is introduced in agriculture? To increase the production in agriculture and to increase the status of farmers and position of agriculture in India. In technological reforms, you can write that today we are using modern equipments in agriculture. Previously we were using orthodox equipments in agriculture, primitive tools in agriculture. We have started using modern equipments to increase production. Technological reforms is basically related to technology. We are using now H5V seeds because of globalization. We have started using modern irrigation systems like sprinkler irrigation system, drip irrigation systems. We have started using, fertilizers we are producing now, pesticides. It has to be used in proper proportion, not more. Then greenhouse we are using in farmland to protect crops. So these can be there. Then we are guiding farmers through newspaper, agriculture fair, DD Kisan channel, SMS, radio channel, toll-free number is there. Application like Agri Market, portal like iKedut, we are helping out farmers through this technological means. Every village has a Gram Sevak which provides information to farmers for new technology, new research carried on by universities, agriculture universities and research centers. Now we have agriculture university in Gujarat, Sardar Patel Agriculture University. These are research centers which are doing commendable job in agriculture research and producing scientists as well. All this is helping out in increasing the production and making our agriculture self-sufficient. So this is all about technological reforms. This point should be covered in technological reform. These are just the points. You can write it in your own words and make it lengthy. Now under institutional reforms, what has been done? Institutional reforms is related to land reforms, crop subsidy and sale of agriculture produce. What has been done? First of all, government has abolished zamindari system, land ordinance. For that, government has introduced land ceiling act to fix the proportion of land holding for the farmers. Then the land tenancy act, land to tillers act. These acts have been introduced by which tillers can get land, farmers can get land, not the owner should get land, not the holder, landlord should get land. That has been done. Other than that, government is emphasizing on consolidation of land program because we are having poor farmers, scattered land, all that. For that, government is insisting on doing agriculture by consolidating the land. But that is not possible for India. But this has been done under institutional reforms. Then we have cooperative societies, cooperative warehouses, then market associations like NAFED, GrowFed, NDDP, Gujco Mesol, right, marketing yards, where farmers, they can sell their agriculture produce to these societies. They can store their food grains, these cooperative societies, and then marketing yards. They can sell at minimum support price decided by the government, so they are not at loss at last. And then government has also introduced crop insurance scheme for protection of crops under institutional reforms, then personal accident insurance schemes. Kisan credit card is also there. Then there are agriculture and rural bank like NABARD and other rural agriculture bank. Those who provide finance to farmers to buy land and buy land and doing the agriculture by themselves, not depending on landlords, by fulfilling their own needs. And at last, government has also taken steps like loan waiver scheme so that farmers they come out of poverty, they come out of debt burden, they come out of it, and agriculture progresses. So these are the reforms introduced by farmers for the farmers by government under agriculture. So this is in nutshell. You can write it in detail. Uh, this is all for today, and best of luck for your tomorrow's exam. In case you need more help, you can keep in touch with me. No problem about that. Over and out for today. Bye bye.